Thank you. All right.
Okay, this is Sunday. You turn on the TV, your family gathers around to watch another game of football. And here comes the national anthem. No. Your grandpa is yelling at the TV, demanding that the players stand. Your dad, on the other hand, doesn't really care. He's just here to watch some good football. And then there's your cousin already on his knee in support of the protesters. This is a dramatic portrayal of what lots of people are experiencing across the United States with the new NFL, well not new, but with the protests going on in the NFL during the national anthem. So I'm Maura, and I'm here to advocate for the proposition that the NFL should require players to stand during the national anthem. So we have 3 claims to support this proposition. Our first claim is a significance claim. Patriotism should be our #1 priority. Patriotism is a value that makes America what it is. It's the support for one's country, and out of it springs unity and a like-minded goal of maintaining the qualities that make America one of the best countries to live in. When it comes to the protest itself, the flag itself represents the patriotic values that Kaepernick is protesting against. In his letter to the editor at the Ridgefield Press, Louis Siegel had this to say: "The American flag and the national anthem were not Kaepernick's enemies. They were the very symbols of what gave him the right to do what he did." So this is just showing that the flag and the national anthem represent those patriotic values of America that gave Kaepernick the right to even protest. So the fact that he's attacking it is a little interesting. And so we also see that patriotism is a really big part of like sporting events in America. And in his article, Sports and Patriotism, Why We Stand for the National Anthem, Kevin Burke said, "While standing for the national anthem at a sporting event, many feel a sense of community and connectedness that is attractive to our souls. At these same sporting events, although some fans are certainly cheering for opposing teams, there are usually underlying communal feelings of, we are here to cheer for our teams." So America isn't 100% perfect, but we do strive to be. And when we are united in support for our country, it's easier for us to hear each other out and get things done. Our second claim is an inherency claim. This current method of protest is ineffective and has adverse effects. So this form of protest actually acts as a barrier and blocks the message from actually reaching people. So again, in his letter to the editor, Louis Siegel said, "Kaepernick surely knew that his actions would gather some support, but would antagonize so many people who otherwise might have joined him." So this is making the point that because of the way Kaepernick chose to kneel during the national anthem, that's something that a lot of people can't get by, and it makes it harder for the message to actually reach people. And former President Barack Obama also said something similar. He said, "As a general matter, when it comes to the flag, the national anthem, and the meaning that holds for us, for our men and women in uniform, and those who have fought for us, that is a tough thing for them to get past and to hear what Kaepernick's deeper concerns are." So this brings me to my second point within this inherency claim, that it is viewed as disrespectful to our veterans and current members of the military. So Brian Mast, who's a congressman now, but he's also a veteran and lost both of his legs in Afghanistan, had this to say. I've taken a knee, I'm going to say this from memory because I lost the card. I've taken a knee for a fallen brother at the Soldier's Cross. I've taken a knee at church, and I've taken a knee when looking for the enemy. So just to paraphrase what he said, he finds it insulting that these protesters are taking the knee in front of the flag, which is what him and his fellow military soldiers have fought for in the war. And this also brings us to our third claim, which is a solvency claim, that if the NFL requires players to stand during the national anthem, then protesting players will implement a less detrimental form of protest. So opting for a more direct form of protest would be so much more beneficial in this protest. So again, in his letter to the editor, Louis Siegel said, "Kaepernick should have led a delegation to City Hall to protest police abuse or brutality, or to state capitals where unjust legislation would be enacted. that would have avoided any ambiguity about his objective, and it would have attacked the problem directly. So this quote shows that instead of just protesting like during the national anthem, if Kaepernick actually took action and used his platform to like gather people to like march to a city hall or like maybe like do a petition, that would have been a better way to go about this so that the message would reach more people and offend less people. And speaking of petitions, they're actually a very effective way to get things done and enact change. The New York Times did a report on petitions and found that the biggest benefit from a petition is raised awareness. In some ways, it's just the updated version of the letter writing campaign to a representative that has been going on for years. So if you want to be a little more modern and not use the old-fashioned petition, you can also just use the internet to, like social media, to rally up people to make a change. So in the battle for net neutrality, which is something that's been going on recently, what they did is they used the internet to rally people to stop net neutrality rules from being revoked. And this is what they found through net neutrality. This was a historic moment when the internet is realizing its power, with massive amounts of creative activism spreading from every corner of the internet. So this shows that the internet and social media also has the power to enact change. And so this all combines to make our plan of action that the NFL should create a rule that requires players to stand during the NFL, and instead that would redirect players to using a more beneficial and less harmful form of protest.